Make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
All in favor? On to the approval of financial reports and payment of bills for May 2018.
I make a motion to approve.
Second. All in favor? Say aye. Okay, on to new business, discussion of animals.
I want to know the commission's thoughts on researching the possibilities of looking at maybe trying to reduce on some of the animals we have. I know we have 4 horses and several goats and things, so I want to know your all's thoughts on trying to maybe look at reducing some of our animals out on the farm. So, what's your all's thoughts on that?
What do we do with the horses?
They're used for carriages.
We have one that's flying and one that fights.
So, that's what they're used for.
How often?
Usually Christmas time.
What if we gave the horses away and considered maybe borrowing a couple horses during the Christmas time, or even renting? That would probably save about $6,000 there on Paintsville.
It's up to you all.
Well, if one bites and one flies, and one leaves shoes. And then the horses is the problem, and what is getting out. I can imagine a community not loan enough at least 2 horses, or even if we had to rent 2 good horses. Is that all it takes to do the carriage here in Christmas? Is the horses for the kids? I mean, what is the purpose of the horses?
It's part of the 1850 setting. You know, we got donkeys, sheep, goats, chickens, rabbits, farm animals.
Can I ask a question, since I am the manager of Mountain Home Place? You know, we're discussing all these animals among the board there, but nobody even looks back this way and asks me a question about it. How many times has anybody been out there to look at these animals, to see what they're used for on this board?
I've been there.
You ever been out there on the farm when we use our animals?
For the carriage rides.
Yeah. Those animals are actually used for more than that. And Ted, the blind horse that's out there, he actually brings more business in there with tours than probably anything that's on the farm. There's people that will drive from Floyd County, Pike County, everywhere, just because Ted's on the farm. And you know, just because a horse is blind don't mean he's not useful. He's also good for things. You take that horse off that farm. When he went blind, he was on the farm. He gets around good on that farm, he's no problem. Ted is not one of the horses that gets out. He's not one of the horses that gets out. The only way Ted gets out is if somebody goes through and opens the gate. Now, you get rid of every horse out there, but you're not going to keep people from going to and open gates. And I'm not saying they don't knock over a fence and get out, because they do. But what I'm telling you is they'll still, people will still let animals out. They'll let the goats out, they'll let the pigs out when we have them. They'll let everything out that don't have a lock on it. And with what the horses eat, we want to do a reduction in the animals there, with what they eat. Mountain Home Place, the Paintsville Lake Historical Association, it more than pays the tours and things, more than pays for everything that's out.
What's some of the other things that you use the horses for besides the carriages? And
We
just
use the
look at?
horses, when we have the help, we use the horses for some of the tours that we actually have. We'll take the horses out and harness them out. We'll bring the horses out and do that, but we actually use those horses to plow with.
Don't you use them in the fall for the,
We use them in the fall. we
when you
use
make
them
a,
When you're making sort.
yeah.
The animals are used on that farm. About the only reason why the goats is still there is because of what I was told in the Tourism Commission, that things had to be auctioned off and couldn't be sold. We've got some buildings out there that needs to be sold right now. But what I was told was that when we sell something, it needs to be auctioned off to give everybody a chance to be able to buy it. We have 2 or 3 goats right now that does need to be sold because you don't need that many billies. Was you all aware that they were billies, that's the goats that we need to sell? Before, because of our status, I could sell whatever that we need to sell. That money would go back into the Paintsville Lake Historical Association funds. It would go back into that bank account. It was ran out through our computers. If there was a hog sold, it would go through the computers. But you can't say that one thing's got to be sold by auctioning it off and then turn around and sell another one. You put me in the predicament that I don't know what I can sell and what I can't with our animals. We have rabbits out there that needs to be sold right now, but if I sell one of those rabbits, it gets me back into the same position where I'm selling something when I'm auctioning it off and giving everybody a fair bid on it. Is that true or not?
That was before me, so I can't answer that one. But this is the first time that I've heard of you needing to sell the billy goats or the rabbits or anything.
I've always sold them. I've sold them ever since I've been manager there. But in our employee meeting, if you remember, you were there and Jerry was there. I was told that anything that was sold had to be auctioned off to give everybody a fair bid. Give everybody the right to buy it.
I didn't know. I don't remember. I just remember we were talking about the restaurant stuff and all that.
That's right, the restaurant stuff, that's what we're talking about. But when you're talking about selling something, it don't matter where it's restaurant stuff or whether it's an animal. It's the same, it puts you in the same position. But with the authority to do so, as far as the goats and the rabbits and things like that, when we've got excess amounts of those that we don't need, then that gives me the rights to sell those. Because it's something that you don't need.
Well, I don't, as far as the blind horse goes and the one that bites, I don't even know that we were talking about selling.
What were you was talking about getting rid of some of the animals.
Well, I think Connie had suggested that we give them away.
If they wasn't being used.
Yeah, well, we used our animals.
The one that bites, is that one?
Well, the only time that we had one to bite, and that was Sunday, and he bit the mayor's wife, and the mayor's wife was told not to be trying to hand him candy and stuff. So, you know, I mean, if somebody's naming something out in front of you and you want it, and you reach and grab it.
Is this the ex-mayor's wife?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the only person that's been bit. And she was told before she done it, because I was standing out there with her, and I told her, I said, don't do that. That horse will bite you if you do that. So there was nobody had anything to blame there but herself, not the horse.
What I was just thinking is of a liability we might have with if the horse bites.
Yeah, well, those horses will not bother you if you don't bother them.
If you don't bother them.
So they're good about not doing anything like that. They're not going to get out and run you down and bite you. You've got to be handing them something, which you shouldn't be doing, and I tell everybody not to feed the horses.
So is 4 horses necessary, or could we get by with 2?
Well, you can get by with none if you want to. But as far as I'm concerned, the 4 horses are necessary. Because we do use one at different times. The 2 horses that we use to pull the carriage with, that's basically all that I do with those. I don't want to take chances on doing anything else with them, to maybe they get hurt, or, you know, because they are carriage horses.
So would that be an
And we
advantage to us if we
We
gave
also
those 2
do
horses
weddings
away?
with them.
Weddings? So it would be an advantage to us if we gave those 2 horses away and maybe just rented a horse from someone out in the county and stuff when we needed it?
Well, what I can't figure out is the benefit that you're talking about.
I'm just talking money, Russell.
Uh,
Feed.
the-
Those
the
2 horses are the ones that evidently get out a lot. So that's just what we're looking at is finance. I mean, how often do you use them in a wedding? You said you only use them at the carriage rides, which is about at Christmas. So, I mean, would it be advantageous, you know, to let those 2 go and maybe just rent as needed or borrow as needed?
Well, my
Or maybe
opinion,
whoever we can give these to, maybe they would let us borrow them back.
I wouldn't get rid of any horses, that's my opinion, and that's the stand I would take on that right there. I would keep horses. I would keep my animals. The thing about it is, we have a budget set forth, we don't go over on that budget right there. And the only time that it will go over is if we buy animals. We have to buy just like our hogs and things like that, it may go over then. But as far as the feed itself, I don't think that it actually goes over budget on the feed. So if you've got a budget that you're working within, and you've got these animals that people do come there and they pay to see, then to me, it's not logical to get rid of it. Unless you want to cut that budget down to the point where then I have to go over and feed the horses.
Well, if we got, you know, if we gave away 2 of those, you would still have 2 horses left, and yeah, it's in the budget, but then that's going to give you more money to put someplace else if you need to. It's not like we're taking money away, it's more like we're adding to.
Well, anytime that you take from the farm, you're not adding to, I don't think.
But we leave 2 horses and we're not taking from the farm. And you said that those 2 horses are the tourist attraction, that you don't really use the other 2, correct?
Now, which 2? I
You
say
said
we
Ted
use-
and the one that evidently bit someone.
Right, we use those on the farm too.
I understand that. And you said that Ted was the one that all the tourist people come to look at, that you really didn't use the other 2, except for the carriage rides and the weddings. So if we gave those 2 horses away that you only use for the weddings and the carriage rides, and you knew when you needed them, maybe the people that we could give them to would let us bring them back just for those special occasions. And we wouldn't have, you know, we wouldn't be out feed. So like I'm saying, if you're losing 2 horses, you're gaining more money to put somewhere else. Maybe another animal of some sort.
Well, the 2 horses that you're gaining, we actually bought those in Tip City, Ohio. The horses in that wagon, we get $5,500 for. That's what those 2 horses cost.
Both of them together?
Yes. That's what we get for those 2 horses, $5,500. And I don't think that, you know, when you're talking about a little bit of feed, that we feed those animals, and to the spring right now, they're hardly eating anything because they eat a lot of grass. I just,
But those are the 2 horses that get out quite a bit, correct?
they do get out, and Sonny gets out. And Ted, when the people open the gate, he gets out. They will get out.
How do people open the gate?
Well, let's see.
When you leave, is there not a lock on it to prevent that, or do they cut the lock?
No, there's no lock on it.
Maybe there should be then, if people's going to go and cut them out.
You put a lock on the gate, people will go through and they'll knock the fences down and let them out. You got people that's going to do this stuff no matter what you do. If we didn't have that, we wouldn't have jails or anything else because, I mean, people would just be great, they don't do anything, but people will do that. There's
How can they
boys-
knock the fences down? I mean, are they not sturdy enough? I mean, they obviously can't do it with their feet or anything. I mean,
You talk about the people. We have split rail fences. Split rail fences are stacked together. You get one of them started, it's like a domino effect, it will take them all down. That's your 1850 fences, they're split rail,
Right, but they're not.
they stack.
So they're like they were in 1850 and they're not as sturdy as they need to be, maybe?
Well, they're not going to be as sturdy as they need to be, even though we do nail ours together. We can go one step farther than nail ours, but they will still knock them down.
Okay. We'll table this for right now and look into it further and see, what's the advantage and the disadvantage of the animals right now. Any more comments? Okay, then. Do I have a motion to adjourn for the Paintsville Historical Society? Oh, updates, I'm sorry.
We have all of our gardens planted now, with where the weather was so bad, we couldn't actually get an early crop of cabbage out, so I took and I planted everything in sweet corn, beans, cucumbers, peas, summer squash, and zucchini. So all of our gardens that possibly we could get out are out. We have corn up, if everything works out this fall, we should have a good crop. And in the last meeting, you guys was asking about things that was scheduled. So here's a schedule of events from, what we have scheduled from June up through October. The only thing that's missing off this, I think, will be Appalachian Crafts Days. That won't be on it. The date before Appalachian Crafts Days has not been set at this time, but it'll be probably the second weekend in September. The weddings that's on that, a lot of times I won't rent a carriage at the time the wedding is booked. They rent a carriage the day before the wedding. That way if there's something wrong, they can't back up and say, well, you rented us this carriage and now we can't use it. So we rent a carriage out the day before the wedding. But there is quite a few of those weddings that will do the horse and carriage.
You said the second week in September?
That's normally when it's done, and that's the one we're looking at right now, which it'll be on a Thursday and Friday because we do it on 2 school days.
Okay.
So we can get the school kids in. We used to do it on a Saturday too, but there was not enough participation from the people in the county and not enough really advertisement to where everybody knew what was going on, so we just started doing it with the school kids on. Which anybody can come in, but it's done for the kids.
Yeah, because you've got a lunch in the reception hall on the 7th. And that would be the 6th and the 7th of September. Right?
Right.
Okay. Okay, anything else?
See?
Now, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor? Thank you, Russell.
You're welcome.
At this time, I'd like to call to order a special call meeting for the Paintsville Tourism Commission. A roll call.
Jerry Daniel. Here. Andrea Dixon. Here. Kay Hall. Here. Mike Short. Here. Connie Bates. Here. Shay Light.
After you've looked over the approval of the minutes of the regular scheduled meeting for May 21st, have a motion to accept. Motion to approve it.
Second.
All in favor? Then we'll move on to the financial reports and payment of bills for May 2018.
Make motion to approve the financial report, payment of bills.
One second. Second. All in favor? Okay, we'll move on to the Country Music Highway Museum. We need an approval of the financial reports and the payment of those bills for May 2018.
I make a motion to approve.
All in favor? Okay, let's move on to old business. We need approval of the 2018-2019 tourism budget.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And let's move on to new business. We need an amendment of the 2017-2018 tourism budget.
When this year's budget was created last June, it was based on the 60% income for restaurant motel tax. We actually received 100%, and then the rest 40 goes directly to the city. So we just need to make some changes to show that we actually did receive the full 100%, so just the 60. So for motel, it would need to be increased to $60,000 for income, and restaurant for $732,200. And then we would also need to create an expense line item for the city of Paintsville, and this would be $317,000. This will make the reports more accurate. We need a motion from the commission to approve this amendment.
Have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
Second? All in favor? And executive director's report?
Since our last meeting, we've had some shows at the SIP. We had Cody Morgan, Seth Ferguson, back at Charlotte Review back the first of the month. It was a good show. Everybody's really enjoying all the local talent that we're able to bring forth. The JCHS players had their show out at the amphitheater, The Little Mermaid. That went good. I'm working with a lot of different local folks. I've actually had somebody reach out to me that's, as far as Lexington, wanting to come and play at the SIP. They've heard what a good venue it is, and the acoustics. So word's starting to spread, and as you all know, we have something just about every weekend at the SIP. So that's a good thing. The library hosted their summer reading program at the SIP last Saturday with the Didgeridoo. They had right at about 40 people come out to that, which was really good, and the kids really enjoyed it. So our open mic night started back. Our first one was last Saturday. We had good performers, good entertainment, and of course everybody that comes always enjoys open mic night. And we actually have some newbies that actually came that will be signing up for the next time, so that is good. I done a presentation about Paintsville and what all we have to offer this past Tuesday night at the Extension Office to the Homemakers Association. And I learned that there are people that live right here in Johnson County and has never been to the museum or the home place or Butcher Holler. But it went really good. I went over everything that we have to offer, and I think by the time I got done, they're going to go visit these sites that they've always lived here for 50 years and never been to. So, actually, Prestonsburg Tourism got a new tourism director. I went and met with her this morning, so I think that's going to be a positive plus for us moving forward. She seems very nice. She's originally from Elkhorn. She's very excited about downtown, local stuff. So I'm excited to see where that takes us. So we're also working together with some of the different other civic organizations, Main Street, Chamber, those such, to move forward out in the community. We're starting to do stuff. So I'm excited. We're moving forward, which is progress for Paintsville, which I really enjoyed. And at the end of the day, I want us to all do what's best for our little community. So. That's it in a nutshell.
Do I have any comments? Commissioner? We have a movie coming up.
We have something just about every week.
Jaws coming up. We got Jaws coming up, yes. Well, summer is actually officially June the 21st, so we figured Jaws would be a good one to bring in the summer. And I think we've already picked out the ones.
Well, we let the public vote on it.
Yeah, we did a survey, and Jaws was one of the top ones.
It's a classic.
So, yeah, for summer, anyway. Don't go near the water. Okay. You don't have anything else, then do I have a motion to adjourn? Motion to adjourn. Second. All in favor? Okay.